Today, I'm waiting for the encore. My guest is Kelly Barnes. Kelly is a lifelong dancer and performer. She is lead singer of the band Darkbird, a musically rich and diverse project that has provided her with a platform to push herself creatively, tour extensively, and develop many loyal fans. She's a thought-stimulating conversationalist and a great guest for the show. So please enjoy my talk with Kelly Barnes. All right, joining us is Kelly Barnes. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. So I like kind of diving right in and asking, what were you doing mid-March? What did you have planned with Darkbird, your band, and any other projects artistically that you had going? What did you guys have planned for the spring? What did you have planned for the summer? And after everything kind of got wiped out, what have you been up to since then during this whole COVID lockdown?
I just had this crazy feeling you were going to ask that question. Well, we had South by Southwest planned. We didn't have a million shows. We used to do that stuff, but we had a few really good ones planned. I don't even remember exactly what they were, but so that got knocked out. We had we had a new manager that since then we don't have. Just some different shows. But honestly, we didn't have a tour planned or anything. We were going to be writing and recording an album, and we're still doing that. So, we didn't quit. We stopped rehearsing for a minute and hanging out together as a band. So we just kind of waited till it was kind of safe to get back together in a room, or it's still not, I guess, but we ended up just putting the masks on and getting back in a room together. But we didn't, outside of South by Southwest and having a new manager and things, I don't know, we found a way to just keep it going. I mean, I'm after you and I have this talk, I'm writing and then going over to Brian's to finish a song that we're recording in the next couple of weeks. So we've kept it going. I mean, there's been a lull, but I don't feel like we had some big thing that got crushed because of it.
That's good. Now you say the manager is no more. So you had a new manager, and then after COVID, was he just like, the hell with this, or what happened there?
Without really getting into it, there was a little bit of drama, but I think there's definitely some silver linings, I think, for everybody through all of this. And I think this was definitely one of them. We just realized that this person wasn't really going to do all the things they said they were going to do, and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm kind of glad we didn't get deeper into something that we are now getting out of.
Yeah.
It actually worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah, that whole territory can get real mucky if it's not.
Yeah, and it's show business is so bizarre. And I came from Los Angeles. I'm one of those jerks that came from Los Angeles to Austin. I'm the one who's raising the rent. But you see a lot of that. I mean, there's so many times you're told. I have been told so many things about what's to come. So many promises that get made that I'm jaded from that. But it's also, I think being jaded can be a really great thing, because it's a learning experience of knowing who to trust, what to trust. And also it makes you question why you're doing this at all. And if it's for the big time, then you can just, get out of here right now. It's got to be for the art, for it has to be for all the right reasons. And so to me, this isn't that big of a deal. This is it's one of those, so my heart's certainly not broken. I haven't shed a tear. I've just sent some angry texts, but that's it.
Those are always good. I've had a few good angry texts over the years, a few I've regretted sending, but
sure. Actually, I don't even think they've been that angry. They've just been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out.
You get older, you get a little less reactive most of the time, but you know,
Yeah.
when
You
you're,
also
when
just,
you're,
you just don't care as much how you come
right.
across with it.
Of course, of course. So, kind of bridging over, you mentioned LA. So one of the best parts of this podcast for me is getting to know everyone's kind of backstory and root structure of where they come from musically, what their influences are when they started playing their instruments, all that stuff. So why don't you kind of take us back, tell us where you come from, and also how music came into your life, how it progressed over the years, what your influences were, what instruments you started on, all that stuff.
So I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. And my mom owned a dance studio, a small dance studio. So I would go to school and then walk to the dance studio in elementary school, walk to the dance studio, do my homework there, and then just took classes, you know, all week for hours a day. So my first experience was dance.
Is that ballroom?
Oh no, ballet,
Ballet.
tap, jazz, all that stuff. I was in a lot of musicals, but I was dancing from the time I even had memories. My mom ran the dance studios, so we spent a lot of our time there. We'd go home at like 9 o'clock at night, have dinner really late, and then go to school, be a normal school kid, and then straight back to the dance studio every day. And I was on Star Search, if you remember that show, when I was 11 years old as a senior dancer. And I got beat by a team called America's Apple Pie, and they were red, white, and blue, and they were on their 8th in a row win when there's only 10 episodes a season. So I knew going in I wasn't going to win, but it was like my first like brush with Hollywood. And I remember as an 11-year-old, I was at the Riot House, the Hyatt. That's where I stayed. And next door was the Comedy Store, and Eddie Murphy was the comedian there. And I walked by Eddie Murphy, and he was wearing all leather when I was 11 years old. And I remember back then being like, oh my God, this is going to be my life,
Holy cow.
One of those kids. So I grew up in Las Vegas dancing. And then I ended up in California, and then on a dance scholarship, and then in San Diego. And then I met a guy, and we moved to LA. And I was always a good singer. And then we just started a rock band.
Nice.
And we were in a rock band called Ragsy in Los Angeles, and we were there for several years. We ended up getting married, and then we split. And then we did a South by Southwest show during that time. And I kind of fell in love with Austin at that point. But so I just once we split, we kept the band together for a few years. We were really, really into our music. Like that was like our child, if we were to have one. And he taught me just so much about writing. And I don't play an instrument. I mean, I screw around on a piano. I'm like, this is what I mean, or this is kind of what I mean. I don't know what I'm playing, but this is what I mean. I mean, I've written a couple Darkbird songs on guitar, but they're like the songs we don't play anymore because they're just so basic. But I never picked up an instrument. I was a dancer, I was a really good dancer. So I understand rhythm. I just understand music through the art of dance more than an instrument. And so I can write from there. And I was in LA for a long time. And then I decided to come to Austin because what I remembered of it from South by Southwest. And then I just reached out on Craigslist and found a guitar player, Brian, and he's a brilliant musician. And then ever since, we've been Darkbird. So, I mean, that's my story. I mean, my resume is so bizarre. Like if I like handed you my resume, you'd be like, okay, cool. So what is it you do? What are you applying for? I did an Irish dance, like if you remember, like when River Dance was huge. One of the guys from that started his own company, and I toured doing some of that. I didn't even dance like that, but I'm a chameleon, so I was like doing like the thing, you know. I did that for a minute. I'm in a bullfighting documentary where I'm trained how to bullfight.
Wow.
And went to Central Mexico and Spain doing that. I never killed an animal. I mean, be kind to animals or I'll kill you. I never did anything like that, but I ran around doing that. I did, and then it was rock band, dance scholarship. It's just kind of, I don't know. I've had a pretty kind of crazy life already, but
that's cool. That's
you're the first. Led me to here.
You're the first person I've done this with that has such a strong dance background. I actually went to school when I was growing up with a girl who had a very similar situation to you in that her parents owned a dance studio.
Yeah.
And she was doing the same exact thing you described. And she was a very good dancer. She was in national competitions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I also had one of my best buddies growing up. He had a younger sister. He came from an Irish Catholic family, and he had 6 siblings. And the youngest one, the baby of the family, was toured the world doing the Irish dancing as well.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a connection with the experience you had. I don't know any bullfighters, but
I know a couple. I've hung out with some matadors, and
that's badass.
It's like a holy experience. I'll tell you that much.
I believe it.
No joke.
I believe it. And I can totally understand how your experience with dancing and rhythm can lead you to slide right in, no pun intended, but slide right into a rock and roll dynamic. The more I've learned about music over the years, the more I've kind of realized how you can almost put rhythm as the pinnacle part of music. Rhythm is just absolutely, I mean, chords, notes, all that stuff, obviously important, but rhythm is so important. If you have rhythm, you can do so much. Like if you can sing out of tune, but if you have great rhythm,
right,
you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can't really do that if you sing great but you have no rhythm.
Oh, you're screwed.
It doesn't really work. Yeah.
But also there's something to, like, I mean, there's a lot of great singers, and I can always appreciate a great singer, but it doesn't mean I want to listen to that great singer all the time. I want to listen to a great song. Mm-hmm. I mean, or like, people that have great rhythm, like rappers. I'm like blown away by rappers. I'm watching that show right now called Dave. I don't know if you know about this, but there's this character, Lil Dicky.
Yeah, I've heard about the show. I haven't seen it.
And his rapping is like, sometimes it's like jazz. You're like, where's the one? Where's the one? Just give me the one. I mean, I have a hard time with jazz because I need the one. I'm a dancer. I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8. I can 1 Iana, 2 Iana, but where's the one, Mm-hmm. But I was listening to him rapping the other day, and I was just like, he is just no matter where he goes, he's on it. Mm-hmm. And it's so like badass to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, rhythm is, if you're going to be a songwriter, if you're going to do anything great, I think you have to have great rhythm. And dance, I thought I was going to be a choreographer. Like that's what I wanted to do. I taught a lot of dance. I was really great at choreography. And one of the reasons I got out of dance is because the work for a dancer is like, at the time when I was at the age where I could be a working dancer, like a properly working dancer, you would be a background dancer for like a Cher or Britney Spears or whatever video. Mm-hmm. And it's not they don't make them like they used to. It's not Oklahoma where you're watching 12 people dance together. You're watching flash, 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 like pose, pose. So you're doing all this choreography, working your ass off, and then you watch the final product, and it's just built for ADD. So you don't get to watch, unless you were to go to the concert and see all the dancers together, or watch the MTV Music Video Awards, where you get to see all the dancers together. It really just felt like screw this. I want to,
Mm.
it's just kind of, dancers just kind of, I mean, I know a lot of dancers that tour and make good money, and they've done like Madonna tours and all that. But like, I was just like, I want to do my own choreography, or I want to do my own thing.
Mhm.
And I want to, and also, oh shit, I can sing. So I'll just take a lateral move and just be a rock band where I can
That's
do whatever
cool.
I want on a stage. And, but yeah,
Yeah, it's also how
we're
you're
talking
built.
about
I mean,
rhythm and I just went somewhere else, but
yeah, if you're built to be, out in front, so to speak, or you're built to be in the background, you can't not do what you're not built to do. You know what I mean? If you
yeah,
don't want to be in the background, you
I
want to be
wanted to
out
be the
front.
star of the show, and or just at least like be seen, like we're working really hard, and like, I love watching some great dancers, but, um, I come from like watching a Janet Jackson music video where you're watching everybody together do all the choreography,
Mhm.
or like, Thriller, or where you're just watching a group of people just execute the choreography beautifully together. And there's something to that is really like, it's electric. And I feel like it's
Mhm.
just like that a lot, I remember watching the movie Moulin Rouge and thinking how hard these dancers worked. And it's a beautiful movie, but it's so rare that you see everyone doing it together. It's just little
Mm.
clips. And I was like, I don't want to be a clip. I work too hard. I want to be seen. I don't want to be like, there I am. There he is.
Right.
Um,
What can
Also,
you
dancing
pinpoint?
is so
Go
hard
ahead.
on your body that at my age,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
believe it.
I'd be broken like a football player at this point. But I'm
I
pumped
believe
on
that.
how it all turned out. But I think it's cool that my start is not, in school band. It was ballet.
Someone such a keen eye for dance, can you pinpoint kind of where that turn took place, where it started becoming just a flash, lack of choreographer or choreographed presentation, and is there you probably have a very good eye for
Well,
when that happened. When did that happen? How did it happen?
I think it happened in everything.
Oh yeah,
I think it happened.
exactly. I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah, like, with music, with film, with anything in the arts that's not actual, just, paintings, or, like museum art, with anything, it's just the ADD of all of everything, like in commercials, everything you see, it's like that you got to hold someone's attention, you know, um, in the music industry. I mean, it's huge, where it's like someone will listen to the first 20 seconds of your song, and if you don't have them by then, you can forget it. But
Five
our old
seconds.
favorites,
5 seconds. Yeah.
but our old favorites are, it wasn't like that. There was a story, and we wanted to get in there. Film the same way. We had just so much more patience.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it happened. I think it was right after the Cold War, but
Mhm.
but we just became, um, I just think the technology, while it's amazing, we want things that are built for speed.
Mhm.
And I don't know, somewhere probably in the 90s, it's like you want something faster. And I think that's just what happened with everything.
Mhm. So
And
it's
I
just,
don't,
yeah, in line with the rest of culture and art. It just fell in with everything else, and
yeah.
shorter attention spans and stuff like
And I
that.
think it has a lot to do with technology. Like, you'll watch, like, I remember watching some movie. I think it was like Transformers, like, the modern Transformers. And
Hmm.
there was a scene, and it's all CGI, and I was just like, I can't tell what's going on at all. There's just all this robots doing all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't tell what's going on. And back in the old days, when they had to like make a model robot, like, they had, everything was so much slower, and we could comprehend it all. And now, just I think I think it's technology has just made it so possible to do things so much more quickly, that we've just developed an impatience.
Mhm.
you know, and you don't realize how like how programmed you are um, to expect something to happen, and
Yeah,
when you don't get it, there's like this there's this discomfort, you know. So I think it's
absolutely.
yeah.
And I've been trying to take stock of my. I want to talk about that Transformers thing because I had a similar experience with that movie. But I've been trying. One thing I've been trying to do over this COVID breakdown is try to, and it was kind of spurred by that social media documentary that came out that pretty much everyone seemed to have seen. But
Yeah.
one thing they talk about, and some other people I've seen who are in that, and I wanted to go watch some more stuff with those people, is you don't even realize how much you're being manipulated. So I've tried to attempt to kind of perform a diagnostic on myself to understand how much I've been manipulated and how much I've been, because I am no better than anyone else. I check my phone all the time.
Oh, you can't help it.
My attention span is probably as short as most people's, and I have that was never the case, but Transformers is a particularly bombastic, like obscenely over the top. I remember I've only seen probably 5 minutes of that entire series, and I had the exact same reaction you had. I was almost nauseous watching it. I was like, "This is horrible. This is horrible." So it's funny that it was that movie that gave you that reaction.
Well,
But
we've just learned to not have patience.
mhm,
I mean, it's
yeah,
rewarded, you know, like every if you if you have commercials anymore in your life. I try not to. My husband watches football games, so sometimes I'm forced to see a commercial. But everything's faster. Whatever's faster, whatever you can get faster.
mhm.
This phone is faster. You know, like this is, and it's just kind of funny. Like, uh, you realize it makes you it makes you just so much more of an anxious person in
Yeah.
traffic and anywhere. Like if you're in a small town and people are a little slower, you just can't handle it. Or where's my waitress? Where's it's just happened to us, and we see it in all in everything. Like that little thing, patience. Without it, like everything can fall apart. You know, it's just like if the bees are gone, we're done with the earth is over. Without any patience, we're also screwed in so many ways. That's
Well,
how violence
we
breaks
have
out.
our
Patience.
pacifier. I mean, our pacifier is our phone. So whenever
Absolutely.
we're impatient, we just put in our Baba,
That's
and
right.
that's our phone. And that's why we can. It's there's a balancing act there where we're not flipping out as much as maybe we would if, but it's obviously a symbiotic relationship. But it's funny you mentioned the football games because I haven't had a television in my house since probably about 10, 13 years. But of course, I watch plenty of stuff on my computer. But football season is the only time I actually am exposed to commercials, and
Yeah,
it's
me too.
horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like I got not used to not having to deal with it, and then you deal with the biggest commercial. I mean, football they get the biggest commercials, the most commercials you can possibly get. The volume's always louder. It's like super high def. It's
Always. And
horrible.
I think
It's
every
horrible.
president, or I think it was like the president's job. I'm not sure whose job, but like it's supposed to be like illegal for commercials to be louder than anything else.
Is it? Well, that's no
And
one's abiding
from
by
my
that.
understanding, and I could be totally making this up, or I heard it somewhere, but it's never happened. They're always louder. It's like, hey, hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey, hey, hey. You
Yeah.
know, I'm actually, because I don't watch commercials. We just have we have Netflix, HBO. We have all the movies. I have no time for commercials.
Right.
Um, See, there's my impatience. I don't even have time for a commercial. No, I don't have the. I can't stand commercials. I can't stand marketing. I'm like
Right.
with Bill Hicks. Like if you're a marketer, just kill yourself. If you
Right.
ever remember that act, like this
Oh yeah, I
isn't
do.
my comedy act. This is just a little something I'm going to say. If you're in marketing, just kill yourself. But it's. I find myself, because I don't see commercials, that when they're on, I'm like a kid who's never seen something. I'm like watching the commercial. I find myself doing that because if a fast food commercial comes on, I don't know what it is. I'm watching. I'm like, what are they doing now? Like, what are they trying to? what are they? It's bizarre to me what they're trying to do with food these days. But I find
Yeah.
myself like in awe of like a Carl's Jr. commercial. The other day I saw one where it's like I laughed so hard, and when every time it came on because you know the same ones come on. I was like, "There's that burger again," and it's the most hilarious commercial where it's like the bun falls down, and then slow mo the meat patty, and then everything like falls down and then like bounces.
Mhm.
I'm like blown away by this burger commercial, and I'm like, "Damn, gross," but it's just
Yeah.
so it's like cheeseburger porn.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, oh, here's your burger, America. It's just so
Yeah.
funny to me. um,
Yeah, my younger brother, he was about 4 years younger than me, so I used to go. There was a times where I was done with college, and I would go visit him at college, and he had this genius. Him and his friends had this genius idea where when they were watching sports, anytime the commercials are on, they just mute the commercial, put on music, and I was like, "This is great! I should have thought of this years ago."
yeah,
But I haven't done that in a long time because I don't have to deal with it that often. But that was a great remedy. They figured that out. They just mute it, put music on during the commercials. So
yeah.
it's a nice
But
little fix
it's
there.
funny, like advertising now, and it's fun. When I went to college, in Reno, the University of Nevada, Reno, and I was in journalism, and then I went into advertising. And I was a bit of a class clown in advertising, but I was really good at it.
Mm.
And I had like a kind of a breakdown at one point going into senior year. It was about to be my senior year. And I called my dad crying, like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't like this. I hate college. You know, I still like have not college nightmares. I don't know if anybody else does, but you know, you went to class, you never went to class, and then it's the final, and you're like, what the hell am I going to do with my life?
Sure.
Like, was I just drunk this whole time or whatever? But I was really good at marketing, but at advertising, and I just was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this with my life. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm good at it. I have a knack for it. Like, I could sell my slogans, all my little things. I'm a creative person, and I was really good at it. I always thought I could wear a power suit and be the Don Draper of, you know,
Hmm.
of advertising. But it was so heartless and soulless to me that I probably would have Bill Hicksed it and been like, you know what, my life is meaningless. I'm trying to make people buy this cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. and I'll actually be successful at it. But what does that mean? And it
Hmm.
really hit me when I was in school. I was like, I'm out of here. Sorry for wasting your money, Dad, but I'm gonna go, you know, be in the arts like my mom always said I was going to. I was gonna go you know, be who I am. And so commercials kind of blow my mind sometimes when I see them. I'm kind of in awe of what they're doing. And it's just like right now they're all wearing the masks, talking about America and all this. And it's just so like, fuck you.
And now it's really weird because I don't know that much about marketing other than the marketing I do of myself to try to get
Sure.
my product out to people. But from what I understand and what I've been hearing and reading and seeing is that it's becoming such a arithmetic based thing now where
Sure.
in terms of algorithms and that kind of testing and like so the creativity of it. I'm interested. You obviously see creative juice in commercials, and there must be creative people writing some of that stuff. But
Oh,
I think
absolutely. I mean,
even a
Geico
lot of
commercials
that
are
has been,
hilarious.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. But I think even it's got to be less so than it was because of all the algorithm stuff that's based in it. It's funny you mentioned the college test thing. The only reoccurring dream I have in my life throughout my whole life has been being backstage, and it's a big show,
Oh
and
yeah.
I can't get to the stage. I can't get to the stage. Something is taking me away from the stage. I can't get there. What's going on? And I've had that dream like a dozen times, but it's pretty
Yeah,
similar
that's
to that whole thing.
everyone's anxiety dream is always
Right.
is really cool. Like I've had
Yeah.
I'm on the stage and I'm supposed to dance and I'm up there and I don't know any of the routine.
Mhm.
I'm just following along and I just
Right.
don't know any of the routine. I have the school dream of, oh my God, I didn't study for the test and here's the test.
Yeah.
Um, I've had definitely like a Dark Bird show and I don't know the words, or I can't get to the stage. One of my craziest one that I don't understand is in like at least 3 times a week, I have a dream that I'm trying to get to the water and I can't get to the water. So
Three
like
times a week you have that dream. That's
yeah,
a lot.
I'm trying to get
Wow.
into the pool or the ocean or whatever. I'm always trying to get to a body of water and something is always stopping me from getting there,
Mm.
which means I need to live by the beach, obviously, at some point.
Yeah.
But it's really
Yeah.
bizarre and I've never
That
really
is weird.
understood it. I almost drowned when I was really little and I was terrified of water after that. A beach experience when I was like 7 or 8 years old. But since then, I just have this. That's one of my anxiety dreams. But I mean, it's bizarre. But I've had all of that. You can't get here. You don't know the steps. It's just funny. But not getting to the stage, I've definitely had that. Like, we have a show. You gotta let us in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
So kind of going back a little bit. Well, first of all, how long have you been in Austin for?
I guess I'm going on. I think I'm going on 8 or 9 years. I would have to.
Okay.
I would have to look. I don't even know anymore.
That's pretty right on with me. I've been here for almost coming right up on 10 years.
Yeah.
And you said you came from Los Angeles?
Yeah.
And how long were you in Los Angeles for?
About 9 years.
9 years. And I'll ask this because it's relevant to me. Me and my family to be honest, we were all planned and ready to go to Los Angeles. We have a number of reasons we wanted to move there. My wife and I, and we have a daughter that we're gonna move in June. COVID hit. We postponed 6 months because we're not going out. We and we postponed 6 months, which takes us basically to right now. And we have to make our decision because of the way our rent works. We have to make our decision like 60 days in advance. So we had to think it all over again. And basically we've extended another year here. And now we have no idea if it's ever going to happen. There's a lot of bad juju going on in Cali, aside from COVID, the taxes, the homeless, the fires, all this shit. So anyway, how was your experience there? And, what were the positives, the cons, maybe aside from the stuff that I might already know or that most people kind of hear about LA?
So when I went to LA, I remember I had friends that were like, it's going to take you 2 years to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, went there. That is 100% true. It is 100% true. If you, within 2 years, it takes you a while to just elbow your way in. It's like a new shoe. You're either going to break it in and it's going to be your favorite shoe, or you're going to be like, this hurts and I'm out. And it's extremely true. You have to find where you fit in LA. And you got to stomach LA. But I absolutely love Los Angeles. And I hated it. I hated the shit out of it for at least a year and a half. I thought people were fake. I thought all the things people think about LA. I can always tell when someone didn't really spend a lot of time in LA and like, oh, they're from LA, or LA sucks. It's just like, you didn't spend enough time there, or you didn't do well there, or you didn't find where you belong.
Sure.
But I absolutely love Los Angeles. I started working in a coffee shop, like a Hollywood coffee shop, busy all the time, celebrities all the time. But I found some great, really great people. There's so many artistic people there, and there's a really great underbelly of a city there. It's a city that's got a serious heartbeat, and you just have to find it. And when you find it, it's like nothing else. And I knew all kinds of actors, comedians, artists, musicians, people that were famous and doing really well, people on the serious struggle, people addicted to everything, people that had beat it. Like it's just got so much character, and it's so much life. I miss it. I miss it all the time. But you can't hold on to something. Everything good comes to an end. And I really had some peaks and valleys there. I learned who the fuck I was in Los Angeles, you know, what I was made of. And I would never, I think that's probably how New Yorkers feel too.
Right.
But it's just, I would never give up my experience there. But, you know, I left at a time where it's like, okay, I think it's come to an end. You know, there was a really good thing going on. And then it was like, it's time to move on. And I could see myself going back right now from, you know, my best friends live there and they're like, LA is dead. LA is so dead. COVID knocked it out. But guess what is still happening? Your rent is still $1 million. Even if you're not working, like, even though the city's dead, it's still terribly expensive to live there. So if I were you, I would wait on that move.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. And it's kind of, it's reassuring to hear you say it's dead.
Smart. It's really smart of you. I think right now is your experience, you know, like anyone's experience, like a high schooler or a college kid right now is not having a proper experience.
Yeah, right. Everyone sucks. Yeah.
You know, like I'm kind of glad I'm where I am in my life that I don't have to like watch someone not get what they should be getting out of certain times and, you know, years of life. But Los Angeles right now is y'all are doing the right thing by not going yet.
Well, that's good to hear because we literally planned for 18 months. We're getting ourselves ready. And then we're like, well, we're not going to go out in the middle of COVID. And then this one was hard. We were like, well, let's postpone a few months. And then we're like, we're not going there now, man. We don't know what the fuck. And we just kept hearing bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. It was nonstop. And we're like, we got a kid here. We got to put him in school. We got to get work. We're not going to go out there.
Yeah,
we're putting it on the back.
It sucks, but you just can't do it now. You just can't do it. I wouldn't do it.
And then, so coming, what was the last thing you said?
I said you'd find yourself pretty frustrated, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I have no doubt. I think it would be way too much for us to handle right now. So kind of ending Los Angeles, were you looking at other places? Did you always kind of have your eye on Austin? Was it one of these immediate things? How did that come about?
I was looking into getting into radio. And there was a radio kind of school thing going on, and they were full in Los Angeles, but they had something open, and I can't remember a couple other cities, and Austin was one of them. And so I said, okay, I'll go to Austin. So I did this whole like program in Austin, and it's funny. So I moved here for that. I was looking for a reason, and then the radio station I was working, interning at and working for, just kind of went under, and they were 98.9 Austin's greatest hits. And now they're 98.9 KUTX, which is so much cooler. And now my band every now and again is on there. So it's kind of went in a weird direction. But I found myself here through that. And I was looking for just something else and somewhere to go. And you know, it's just kind of funny how you end up where you end up, you know, and that for me was, that was my in. And I worked in radio for a little bit. And then next thing I knew, I found a band.
How has Austin been for you over the last 9 years? You know, what's been your, how's it been for you? Do you love it? Do you love it? Do you like it? You know,
I love it, but it's changing in a way that I don't love. I don't love that outside of the whole COVID thing. I feel like it's you know, they're building condos everywhere. I mean, if you look at the Broken Spoke, like where it used to be, now there's these ridiculous condos all around it, and like Liberty Bar. And I think it's just looking at what they're building everywhere just gives you the idea of what's happening to Austin, and it's just changing. Too many people are moving here. We don't have the freeways for it. We don't have it's a little city trying to be a big city without big city pants, you know? So I think it's kind of, I don't really like the way it's changing. I wish I could say otherwise. And I don't think I'll stay here. But I've loved it. I love my little house. I love my friends. I love my little places I go, my restaurants. I love our local radio station so much. There's a lot to love here. And I think, I mean, I wouldn't regret this move for the world. It's a really special place, and it'll always be a special place in my heart.
I concur with that analysis almost completely. It's been very good to me. I met my wife here. I've been able to get exactly what I wanted to get musically here, which is just as much stage time as I can possibly get, which has been great. I do think it's changing, but I want to just kind of go back into what you just said, because you did seemingly contradict yourself a little bit. And that is, I think you said it'll always be amazing at the end of what you said. But before that, you said it is changing quite a bit. And that is the question. Will it always be amazing? I don't know about that. I think
it'll always be an amazing experience to me.
Experience for you. Okay, I see. Look at. I hear what you mean.
I don't know if the city will always be amazing. It'll always be an amazing, have a special place in my heart. But I don't know that it's, it's turning into a techie town. There's a lot of techies moving here. And I
completely,
I don't know how much I have in common with, techies. I'm going to have to plug in my power source to my computer. Hey, and by the way, this is Tina and Brian.
What's up, Tina? I think I've met another Tina that looks exactly like that Tina before.
That's Tina and Brian. Brian's from LA. Tina's from Austin. They're my rock and roll dogs. But I'm going to have to plug in a power source. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
Don't worry about it.
2 seconds.
No worries. So, Tina and Brian, it's good to meet you guys.
All right. Sorry, everybody.
I was just starting to interview Tina and Brian there for a second.
Oh, yeah, Brian is way more interesting. That is for sure.
He's got a good backstory from what I was hearing.
Well, he's from Los Angeles.
Very cool. I can ask him about
Brian
his
can tell you about the
there.
streets of LA more than I can, because that's where he came from. He's a rescue.
Oh, wow.
He knows what's up.
So this has been great. We can kind of start to kind of close things out here, but I want to hear a little bit more about Darkbird. So Darkbird, how long have you guys been together?
Brian and I have been writing together for probably I want to say 7 years.
Mm-hmm. And I think we played a show together, right? At the hotel. I think it was at God, I can't even. This is how long it's been.
We played so many shows. It's like
Hotel
Empire.
What's the hotel? Vegas. Hotel Vegas.
Yeah, Hotel Vegas. Sure.
So, and I've heard you guys, and I've seen you guys, and you guys are wonderful. Now, how long has it always been kind of the same? First of all, how would you describe the music? Because when I was listening to it, to kind of get it in my brain and get it in my ear before this interview, there's some pretty hard driving, I would say almost punk stuff in there. And then there's more stuff where it's tough for me to, some of the stuff you sing, that's an area it's hard for me to describe it. So even though genres you can throw them to the wayside, but how would you describe it? Where's the influence coming sound wise?
I mean, I don't know. I really I've got a million influences musically. I'm a huge PJ Harvey fan. I love Sonic Youth, but I also love Roy Orbison. I think, I think what I want to say try to do, but maybe end up doing is we just want all of our songs to just be heart wrenching in some way. We're called Darkbird because it's we're dark. We don't really sing about all the happy times or whatever, but we I think we just try to do what anyone tries to do, and it's just have really heartfelt music that's I think that when I talk to Brian about writing songs, if when we're writing something, if some point in the song I don't want to dance or cry or just put a fist in the air and have a real the emotion in my chest, then we just scrap the song. And that's just how we write, our sound is changing a lot right now. We have a lot more electronic things happening. that are really fun. We're working with Walker Lukens, and we're doing a really great album right now. And watching ourselves evolve and listening to us change is really, really cool. I think that, you know, I listen to our older stuff and what we're doing now, and I feel like we've just really progressed as a band in a direction I didn't even know was coming. So it's super organic. But I mean, I don't know. You know, I was born in the late 70s. I still want to say we're just indie. We're just indie rock.
Sure.
You know?
And you mentioned, first of all, I'm always a fan of dark as well. I think dark is definitely the most beautiful shade.
I mean, I like some happy music, but I like a heart pounder. And I'm an old dancer, so I'm dramatic, you know? I want to feel it.
Absolutely. Nice. That's great that you can just make those. Everyone knows what those mean. So that's great.
Right. Sometimes, I mean, I should probably learn sign language. I think I'd be good at
it. And you kind of just hinted at this, but what do you guys have on the horizon? Not just Darkbird, but yourself. How are you kind of, you know, obviously it sounds like you said it was a silver lining. You guys have been just fine up till now. I think a lot of us, the old people I'm talking to, it's a very similar vibe. Even people that had a lot of stuff canceled and had to change, everyone's kind of had this pretty optimistic and positive, at least artistic people. Everyone makes sure they preface that with, I know there's a lot of people struggling out there, and I know that it's real rough,
right.
But you know, our contemporaries, peers, a lot of people are finding that this has been a good time. For me personally, it has been, but now that we're at this point where this isn't getting better, now just in the last month, I find myself going like, okay, it's been all right, I've been fine, but now we still got what, 6 more months of this, another year of this.
Yeah.
You know,
This is it. Like, this is how it is now. You know, we just wear a mask.
Yeah, well, yeah, but in terms of not performing on a regular basis, that's this trouble thing.
That's rough. I mean, I feel like there's going to be, you know, like we talking smack about technology, but there's going to be probably something that comes up that, you know, I don't know if you saw like the Flaming Lips. Did you, when they had everyone in a plastic bubble at a show?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
It was so badass. And they've been doing that for years, just as like a, you know, aesthetic. But they did a concert like that. And I don't know what it costs, but we might all end up getting plastic bubbles so we can go to a concert together and be bouncing in those things and rocking out.
Bumper bubbles. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in. I'm all in.
That sounds fun. Yeah. No,
not performing is it's hard. You know, I said the cheesiest thing to a friend years ago. We were walking around, I think at a Ross, Dress for Less, in some crappy part of Hollywood. And she's my old manager in LA, and she was like, "You've got to go to this girl." This is just how she talks, so I have to do it. She's like, "You've got to go to my girl, you know, whatever. This massage is amazing. It's the best 45 minutes of your life." And I said, "The best 45 minutes of my life is on stage." And then she looked at me and we died laughing because it was so dramatic, but I was totally dead serious when I said it. But it's true. Like I just get a rush out of it. I like kind of almost black out while it's happening because I get so into it. And after a show, I'm just like, well, I think sometimes if I go into a show, I'm like, I'm just going home after the show. After the show, I'm like, shots. You know, it's just like, you know, I feel like, you know, after playing I imagine after you like win a football game, how people feel. And I definitely recognize how hard it is to not feel that, even if it was like once a month, just like that boost, and just that luck, like how lucky we all can feel as musicians to be able to feel what it's like. And when people are jealous of people on stage, they should be. It's an amazing feeling to just be going for it and just lose yourself and feel like completely vulnerable but powerful at the same time. It's hard to I'm gonna choke up talking about it. It's hard to
so
not. not have
How are you
that.
guys looking forward? Yeah, I agree 100%. How you guys, how are you personally and the band as well looking forward into the next 4 or 6 months? You're working on
We're
that.
just writing.
Encore.
We're just writing and we're making music. And, right now, the stuff that I'm hearing that's coming out, that's even before it's mixed, is just like, it's giving us a lot of that feeling to just hear ourselves really do really well. I mean, I think that's all we can be doing right now is just writing and just putting ourselves completely into that, the way you would completely put yourself into a show. I mean, maybe for us, that's we've needed to do more writing. It's easy to get lazy as a band and just do your next
Yep.
gig, and we're like forced to reckon with ourselves and and somehow get that energy out onto something. And it's just been writing, because you know what, even if no one can see us on stage again, we can still make a music video and we can still be heard, and people can still be in their cars or their living rooms and still having all those feelings without being able to go like this. um, until we can all get in the bubbles, you're just going to continue to hear new music. And that's, if
It's
that's
something.
all there is, then that's, oh, I think my pajama pants just got here. Hey.
Pajama pants. Well, Kelly, I really appreciate you taking the time, and I
Hey,
had a
Brian,
really
come here.
really good time chatting with you. But yeah, thank you so much, and good luck
Thank you.
to Darkbird, and look forward to hearing the new stuff. And hopefully, we'll all see each other on stage in the not too
Oh yeah,
distant future
man.
here.
We will. Something's gonna give. We're gonna get through this.
I agree.
Technology is gonna save us.
Uh,
Kill us.
we love you, technology. Get the fuck out of here. We love
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Love, hate.
All right. You take care of yourself. Have a good rest of your week.
You too, Sam. Appreciate you. Thanks.
All right. Bye.